Are you truly stepping into the role of leader in your own life, the way you know you're meant to? What shifts would unlock your full potential? It's time to explore those answers with the host of Sacred Leadership, intuitive business coach Sherisse Alexander.
Welcome to Sacred Leadership with Sherisse here on the Inspired Choices Network, where today I am joined by Philip Hunt of the Catalyst Coach. And today, Philip and we're revisiting last week's episode where we were really trying to tune into the body and being very present and seeing what we noticed, the state that you're in. And in this one, we are going to be we're talking about the lever of how you can change that. So we are going to return to the body, but this time we're going to do so through the breath, the most immediate tool that we have for shifting our own state on demand. Together, we will guide you through 2 live practices. First, the breath that calms and centers, how to calm down and come down, settle the nervous system, and return to ground when you're braced and constricted. Then the breath that energizes and brings you alive, not spacey or scattered, but locked in, present, and focused. The heart of today's episode is knowing which one you need, when, and how to reach for it, and how to read the state that you're in and choose the breath that moves you towards center, whether you're coming down from too much or lifting up from too little. Both roads lead to the same place: present, grounded, available. And once you can find that on purpose, it changes how you lead. So come as you are, somewhere you can sit safely and breathe. So speaking about safety, today, because it's going to be active breath work, please practice somewhere that you can be seated, not while driving or in the water, and skip the energizing round if you are pregnant or have a heart condition, high blood pressure, epilepsy, or another condition affected by intense breathing. So without further delay, Philip, now, I will admit I am a little tired today. I was commenting on that at the beginning before we jumped on here. So I'm gonna let you energize me.
Maybe we should start with the energizing breath then.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. But yeah, so before we dive into the practice, how do you want to do this? Do we want to talk about it a little, like what you might be noticing, or do we and the how and why, or do we want to dive right into the active practice?
I think let's talk about a little bit, lay a little bit of framework, and then because then you'll have something to kind of sink your teeth into and understand what's happening when we actually do this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Breath is such a powerful technology that so many people don't understand and underutilize, and we breathe every day, yet we know so little about it, or many people. So, like you said, breath helps us tune into ourselves and be more purposeful, be more intentional. So, breath is a very fascinating functionality and technology because it's both autonomic and we can also override it intentionally. We can breathe intentionally or we can breathe automatically. And the difference is profound because when you just live without considering your breath reflects your internal reality and responds to what's going on internally. But you can take the position of the driver's seat, step in, intentionally calm or elevate or excite, regulate your breath, and change your internal state. So it can slow down your mind, it can amplify your emotions, it can regulate your heartbeat. A lot of people have anxiety and have high blood pressure, and that's simply, there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the main reasons is because their mind's just going so fast, which increases their heart rate, increases their breath and their blood pressure, excuse me, and it's pushing things to the system way faster and way more intensely than necessary. So just
Mm-hmm.
by calming your breath, stilling your mind, you can lower your blood pressure, you can regulate your heartbeat, you can calm down, you can gain more clarity. And so today, as we go into these practices, it's really powerful to become in tune to what's happening when we breathe. And you just take little bits and pieces, take it a little bit at a time. And as you do this on a regular basis, your external reality, you become a lot more inner focused. And then you
Hmm.
step into the driver's seat, and that peace then emanates to every relationship in your business and your family and everything. So um,
And that's
yeah, man.
ultimately why we started last week with paying attention to your body, because even as you're describing, like, you have to have the awareness first. I was
Right.
having a conversation with somebody like a few days ago, and I could feel like this anxiety in my chest. I didn't even say in my belly, but like I could feel I was anxious about something. But even though I could absolutely feel it, and she could feel it too because she commented on it, she was like, "Oh, I can like really feel your anxiety around this." Um, I was not thinking about my breath. I was not like, okay, I'm feeling the anxiety. Let me just like calm myself. I mean, I eventually did, but it wasn't my go-to. So that's part of why we did that exercise last week about being really, really aware. So it's even that practice of remembering and like tuning in, and even in that moment, feeling this like anxiety in my chest, I could have been like, okay, you know what? This is not actually happening right now. Like I'm living in a past memory. Let me just like come right back to present and like pay attention to my breath.
Exactly. And it's such, it changes your entire approach to life and to your relationships and communication. And so, like, when you do this on a small scale, it's like, what's the point? What's the big deal? But it becomes very apparent how necessary this is when the momentum becomes so strong and you ignore it for so long. And that's where burnout and fights and all these different things come to. So if you can regulate it and kind of micromanage, and it doesn't have to be stressful, you just do a little bits at a time, and then it becomes your default. That's the way you live. Then you gain so much peace and control of your inner reality. And then you recognize when you start feeling anxious, and you're able to dial that down and realize like what's going on with me here. And it triggers
Hmm.
you to kind of tune in and be ask questions.
And such a valid point around, because I was just thinking, I'm like, yeah, you do it once you develop the practice and you're doing it for so long, the byproduct of that is exactly what you said around. Now it just becomes a practice. Now it's just a part of your life. Now, even if it's not like, oh, I'm anxious, okay, breath work.
Right,
It's,
right.
I was aware of the anxiety. I knew it was there. The evolution, even for myself within that, is like, oh yeah, there's this trusty thing called a breath. I can follow that.
Right. So,
Yeah.
fun fact, 25 sextillion molecules is the average amount we breathe in with every breath. Now, every molecule has at least two atoms, and every atom has at least two electrons. That's a tremendous amount of electricity moving through our system, right? And what happens is it activates and energizes our nervous system. And when you become super subtle and or super aware of the subtleties of this, you realize that your breath actually, like you said, brings up thoughts and emotions. That this isn't what's happening in this moment. I'm living in a past reality, a past experience or memory. And so as you breathe, you actually activate and aliven those memories and those emotions, and it's a really powerful way for like to walk through things therapeutically, because it'll access parts of you that you wouldn't otherwise normally access because you just go about your day.
Hmm.
But when you do intentional breath, deep breath, and you slow down, then you can access doors that you've hidden some stuff away in and don't want to look at. But that electricity and that breath brings that to surface, and so that you're able to handle
I'm excited. Let's
it.
do
Let's get
it.
energized. So should we start with
Yeah.
the energizing
Yeah,
one?
let's energize
Let's do
first.
that.
You go ahead. Let's energize.
Great. All
And then
right.
you can calm me right down. How about that?
There we go. Yeah, we'll end on
Okay.
a peaceful note.
Thank you.
So, yeah, let's close our eyes, which immediately helps you tune inward. Your brain waves calm down. You go into more alpha state instead of the beta, like run, run, run. So we're calming down simply by closing our eyes, tuning inward. And we're going to take some deep, kind of forceful strength breaths through the nose, not too intense, but we're going to go in varying strengths so you feel the difference. So in through the nose, and we'll breathe out through the mouth. And at the first one, this first set, we're going to do like kind of intense, quick breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I'll ask you then to tell us what you feel in your body as a result of this. All right, so let's do 5 quick breaths in and strong exhales.
So
Ready?
when you say five quick, hang on,
Yeah, yeah.
I need the
I'll do it for
instructions.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So one quick breath in is
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Ready?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it 5 times.
Okay.
Ready, set,
Yeah.
go. And how do you feel?
Well, I feel really clear actually up here. Like I just, whatever was maybe having me feel a little, I don't want to say foggy. I don't think I felt foggy today. Just like, um, and I was paying attention. There was something I wanted to mention to you because it was like I was thinking about posture and all these different things with breath. So I was like adjusting myself and making sure that I'm aligned, pulling from like, my diaphragm and but yeah, I feel clearer. I don't know how else to say it other than clearer.
Good. So you feel clear in the head. Do you feel
Yeah.
anything in your body?
Expansive. Sorry, I was just tuning in. That's why I was
It's
pausing.
good.
Yeah, like maybe more like there's more room,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So almost like, so if you think about that breath, it's like in powerfully, out powerfully. So it's almost like blowing out what doesn't serve you, right? So
Absolutely.
that's what I mean when I say expansive. Like there's
Exactly.
more, there's more room.
Exactly. You're making room for
Hmm.
new oxygen, for new energy, for new ideas. Did you feel any type, and it's okay if you didn't. We only did 5, but did you feel like any type of tingles in your body?
No, the biggest impact is like really in this area, which
Yeah,
is valuable because it almost tells me that like when you might feel foggy or muddled in the mind, like that super quick exercise that we just did is like enough to like, okay, almost like restore clarity, like there's more space now for something to emerge.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it
I
clears.
feel more alert for sure. I do feel more alert.
Isn't that cool? 5 breaths. You were tired coming into this, right?
Yeah. I mean, so I still feel the fatigue there, but it doesn't feel as like pressing. That's what
Mm,
I would say. It just feels like, so I imagine if you did that for like 10, 15, 20 breaths or a few rounds, right? Even if you just did five, but in like multiple rounds, that like whatever is stuck, I would be able to move with the breath.
yeah. And that's a really important point is breath is movement. It moves the
Hmm.
energy through your system. So if you have stuck emotions, you have trauma, you have different issues, or just frustration, moving that breath through your body can really help clear stuff up. Now,
Hmm.
sometimes if there's really sticky issues, like if there's deep trauma or you have like deep issues with a person, breath is not necessarily enough and it could exacerbate the issue
Sure.
because you're putting so much energy through the circuitry
Hmm.
and there's that resistance. Sometimes the breath can move the resistance out of the way. Sometimes it forces past it and that overheats and that can actually cause more problems. So it's important to discern what's going on.
I'm so glad you said that because I think sometimes we can find ourselves in really uncomfortable situations, personally, professionally, whatever. And because we don't particularly enjoy the discomfort of it, sometimes it's easy to reach for one of these modalities to try and like push through and get rid of the uncomfortable feeling. But sometimes that discomfort is serving a bigger purpose. And so I'm glad you brought up that point around discernment. Sometimes the answer is you got to just sit with it until whatever you're supposed to have an awareness about becomes an awareness. And then I think it's like anything else, like when you're ready, then that fog lifts or that heaviness lifts because you've addressed whatever it is, but you got to sit with it first.
Yeah, exactly. You need time to process it, and the
Yeah.
solution will present itself if you give it that
Mm-hmm.
space and time, and we don't force it or rush into it. You said something I wanted to. Yeah, you want to do one more of those in a different
Actually,
way?
we are going to take our first break. And then, yes, when we come back, I absolutely want to do another one. And then we can move on to like the calming breath work. But we'll be right back.
Leadership isn't reserved for CEOs or world leaders. It's something each of us is called to embody in our own lives. But how do you awaken that inner leader with clarity and confidence? On Sacred Leadership with intuitive business coach Sherisse Alexander, you'll discover powerful tools and spiritual insights to align your words, actions, and outcomes. Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific, right here on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Sacred Leadership with Sherisse Alexander. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Sherisse@pavitraleadership.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to Sacred Leadership with Sherisse here on the Inspired Choices Network, where today I am joined again by Philip Hunt, the Catalyst Coach. And I just realized as we were coming back, I forgot to say the title of today's episode, The Breath That Moves You. It's okay. We're clearly talking about breath work if you've been sticking with us since the first segment. And if you recall from last week's episode, we were really working on paying attention to the body, tuning into the body. What are we feeling? And so that was foundation for today's episode, which is, okay, great. Now you might feel some heaviness or some anxiety or some excitedness or any one of those many emotions out there, and you can easily use your breath to regulate and bring you back to a calm, centered, neutral space so that you can actually make clear-headed decisions moving forward. So in the first segment, Philip just took us through a bit of an energizing piece, and I was sharing what I was feeling, and I think the biggest thing that I got from that first exercise was just like this expansiveness. I think it's super fitting that I was feeling a little tired today, so I feel a little more energized and clear-headed. And we were about to go to our second energizing breathwork exercise, aren't we, Philip?
We're about to do that. Um, so with breathing through the nose, there's so many sensory stimuli through the nose that it really activates so many senses in you. The mouth does not have the same effect. So if you really need to calm down, breathe gently through the mouth. Mouth breathing is not generally recommended. It's not the healthiest, but it gets a lot of oxygen in while not activating all those senses. So if you're like hyperstimulated and you don't need any more stimulation, then that mouth breathing can help slow. But right now we want to stimulate. We're gonna shake it up. We're gonna activate our system. So we're gonna do this one a little bit differently. We're gonna breathe in through the nose deeply, same as before, and then out through the mouth. But we're gonna push as much air as we can out through the mouth. So it's gonna be an extended breath. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Now,
So
before we do that, I'm really treating you like the coach and the teacher today. So when you say overstimulated, do you mean just really excited or do you mean like angry? Like, what do you mean when you say like, you mean physically sensory stimulated or do you mean emotionally?
it could be
Because we're talking about
either.
when to use. Okay.
Right. It can be either. So
Yeah.
generally, like if you're overstimulated I mean, overstimulated is never good. We love excitement, but if you get too much excitement, that can cause like a crash and burn. But this is more generally like if you're frustrated at work, if you're frustrated with an employee or a spouse, or you're at a concert, or there's so much going on in traffic where it's just like
Mm,
my head's spinning, I don't know what to do, and I
mm,
need to calm down. Adding more stimulation to the mix is not going to help you. That's just going to pile it on. So you need to calm down. So you slow your breath, you calm your mind, and breathing through the mouth in that sense can help because it's not activating all the stuff in your olfactory senses and activating your nervous system in the same way.
totally makes sense. Because even as I'm nose breathing, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel so much going on in here. When I
Yeah.
exhale through my mouth, I'm like, oh, there's nothing, just breath.
Right. Right. So it's not the healthiest. It's not like our design to breathe through the mouth, but you can
Yeah.
use it. You can biohack, and there's absolutely time and space. If you're an Olympic athlete, like you need to get some more oxygen in there.
Hmm.
So there's recognizing the tools for the job.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna breathe quickly and powerfully in through the nose, and then push out. Really expel the air out of your diaphragm, out of your lungs, to the point where like it's slightly uncomfortable. It's like a workout. Okay, so we're
Okay.
getting we're getting that carbon dioxide really out. Ready?
Okay.
We'll do that
Hmm.
5 times.
Okay.
Ready? In, out, in, and really push. Blow, 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 blow. And push those muscles, push the diaphragm, push that all the way out.
Whew.
And breathe.
I feel borderline lightheaded.
Yeah.
And I feel like so much like actually back here, like in my ears.
Yeah. Tell me, go deeper into that. What is that like?
Let's see. So obviously I could feel the expansion of my lungs pushing out. Yes, I had more air. You were saying like push out, but like as I was getting to the, breath three, breath four, breath five, it was like, first of all, I was seeing like with my eyes closed. Well, there was a light in my face, so we won't use that as an example. But back here, when I say feeling my ears, it was almost like a cooling effect on my ears. I don't know how else to describe it, but I was hyper aware of my ears.
Yeah, that hyper awareness happens because our nervous system is highly activated. So we're constantly engaging life through our nervous system. You have over 40 miles of nerves running through your system, and it's picking up electrical stimuli. And so light is electrical stimuli somewhere on the electromagnetic spectrum. Sound and visuals, everything is that electrical stimuli. And when you amp up your nervous system, you become much more in tune, much more aware of that. And it takes time. Like, it's not great to do this too quickly because you can overload your system. But if you do a little bit at a time, your system upgrades and you become like hyper aware of everything around you to the point where it seems almost supernatural.
Yeah, I mean, after doing those two exercises, so I can see the benefit of doing something like that. Like if you're having a foggy morning and there's not enough coffee, not enough energy drinks in the world, like so after that second exercise, so first of all, remember I said like I was hyper aware of my something back here. It was like cool, but just like all my attention was there for some reason, which is super odd. But even now, it's like so whatever remnants there was of like fatigue have even faded even further into the background and like it's I feel even more clear, more present, more like there's more expansion within 5 breaths.
Isn't that remarkable? Like how efficient that is. And part of
It's an
the
amazing
benefit
tool.
of exercise is simply you breathe more. It's
Yeah.
forcing you to breathe more. But you don't have to go out and jog or run or lift weights. Like you can just sit in your chair and breathe and have some real results.
Yeah, that second exercise feels more interesting because, I was mouth breathing, but I feel like I got more out of it. But makes sense, right? Because I was breathing deep and pushing out deep. So it was, yeah, like maybe a full cycle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just I felt like I got more out of it.
So how could you see that like applying in life? Like in what situation would you use that? Like
Today
in
would have been
work.
a
Let's talk
perfect, yeah,
executive stuff.
yeah. Today would have been a really good example of that. It's yeah, it's early in the week still. Um, but I felt this morning tired and like, oh, why am I so sluggish? And there's lots to do. There's lots to do every single day. And I even remember coming into this day being like, oh my gosh, I should totally do some breath work so I can like amp up this energy. So a really great example is exactly what we just did. Um, Especially another thing that's coming to mind now is like, when you think about your workday and when you have the most cognitive capacity, hence the reason the mornings are generally the best. But, let's say you need to take that into the afternoon when that generally, tends to lessen. This would be a great way, like, after you go for lunch or whatever the case may be, you come back to your desk, you've got hours still in front of you, you're feeling tired and sluggish, like just a quick 2 round exercise, 5 breaths, and you're back in it. Um, and then, as I said, like, sometimes I think at work we can get into the space of overthinking a problem and thinking that if we keep thinking about it, the answer will come. But I've often found the best solutions come often in the quietest moments of my day, which are usually like first thing in the morning for me. That's usually when I get my quiet insights. So maybe even if you've had one of those days where you've been overthinking a problem, just maybe to clear that out at the end of your day. Like it seems weird to do it at the end of your day as an energizing breath, but it just felt so like get rid of. Like I'm done with you. We're getting rid of you. I'm letting you go. So that seems like another practical use for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because when we get into that like anxiety or like trying to figure out a problem, our mind goes in this loop and it's like trying to figure this out and it's computing and it's analyzing and that breath can be that pattern interrupt and that
Hmm.
energy expelling to just be like, all right, just quiet, just stop, you know, and then it gives you enough time to settle and then you're like you said you're expansive and then the answer always comes when you're in
Hmm.
tune with it and you relax into it. That's when you're able to receive. When you're going so hard and trying to make it work, you're all constricted up and it's really difficult for the answer to come. So this breath can clear the space, clear the air, literally.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I I feel so much better.
Good.
That was the energizing one. And I'm like, I could take a nap. Like I feel, because literally I just feel like the day was full and it was busy and there was a lot on my brain. And I just feel like all that I did, I don't particularly feel like I need an answer to anything, but I do feel like space has been cleared so that, because sometimes, I mean, that obviously can affect sleep, right? I woke up this morning, I was tired, I didn't really understand why. I'm like, I had a great day yesterday, didn't remember any dreams, so why am I so exhausted? And that doesn't mean that my mind's not busy doing its thing at night, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other episode we could do on sleep, like going to bed at the right time and going to
ugh,
bed after casting your cares and cleansing yourself will give you peaceful sleep. Because if you don't, then your mind's processing that all night, and then you wake up still processing that, and then
ugh.
it's bad
We
pattern.
are going to do a whole episode on that. Because, I don't think we think about those things, to be honest with you. Because I'm like, oh, was I thinking about anything last night? Like, what did I do? Like, why was I so tired this morning, right? I didn't think I was, but I very clearly acknowledge that I don't recall my dream, but woke up feeling like all I did was continue to process, like, in my sleeping hours. So, and felt like I ran a literal dream marathon. So,
And all these pieces are pieces to the puzzle, the tuning in and the internal thinking and the breath and the sleep. And when you learn to integrate it all, that's where magic really happens and your life starts
hmm
to really transform.
I love it. Well, we are going to take our next break. And when we come back, calm down. Oh, you're so going to get ready for a nap here. So we will be right back.
Leadership isn't reserved for CEOs or world leaders. It's something each of us is called to embody in our own lives. But how do you awaken that inner leader with clarity and confidence? On Sacred Leadership with intuitive business coach Sherisse Alexander, you'll discover powerful tools and spiritual insights to align your words, actions, and outcomes. Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific, right here on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Sacred Leadership with Sherisse Alexander. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Sherisse@pavitraleadership.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to Sacred Leadership with Sherisse here on the Inspired Choices Network, where today I am joined by Philip Hunt, and we are talking about the breath that moves you. And in the first and second segments, we did two energizing breath exercises, leaving me clear-headed and energized, yet ready for a nap, all at the same time. And now we are going to move on to bringing that tempo down a little bit and moving into something that's a little more calm and sleepy and chill. Over to you, Philip.
All right, so we learned breath to activate and to stimulate and to amp up. Breath is also a powerful tool to regulate and calm down and relax. So let's start with tuning into how do you feel right now? Because we want to, part of this whole living by breath, the breath that moves you is becoming aware of what's happening within you and without, how the external is affecting your breath and your thoughts, and getting the driver's seat so that your thoughts and your breath can start influencing the external more so. So what's going on internally right now? What do you feel somatically? Where are you?
Okay, so somatically, I can feel a little bit of tension, heaviness, slight heaviness in my heart center.
Okay. And has that been there all day?
I never paid attention, to be honest with you. I think it kind of has been. I think I've just been ignoring it.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, whatever.
And that's a beautiful object lesson right there. Like, how much do we ignore? How much do we just go through life and not even consider? And yet, those are like little lights on the dashboard of our car that they're lighting up and saying, hey, pay attention to me. I need help. Pay attention to me. So, tuning into that and processing through that internally, that removes the resistance internally. And then externally, your life becomes a lot smoother once you work through that
Hmm.
stuff. So, okay, you got your awareness there. So we're going to go into a gentle regulating breath. Um, Similar thing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to close our eyes and it's going to be very, very gentle. Okay, like think like you're holding a baby. You're so gentle. It's so relaxed. We'll do that 5 times and just focus on how soft and how relaxed you can make that breath. Take a good amount of air in, but super slowly, super gently. So we'll start here with 5. In and out. Go at your own comfortable pace 4 more times. She's in her zen space. Wake up, Sherisse.
Totally am. Yeah, I'm here.
How do you
So
feel?
I was really enjoying it. What was funny is as soon as I think the most valuable direction that you gave in that is like take in a good amount of air, but focus on how gentle you can do it. So normally when I'm doing like a slower paced type of breath work, I'm breathing deeply, but not to say that it's aggressive, it's not with that much focus on being gentle within it. So what I was doing within that gentleness of it was like, how imperceptible can I make this breath as I move it throughout my body? Right? Like I want to feel the effects of it. So I want to feel it like down to my toes. I want to feel it like literally lighting up all the cells in my body. But at the same time, I want to do it just almost like sunlight, rays of sunlight, for lack of putting it a better way. Super gentle, like morning dawn, if that makes sense.
Yes. Hashtag
Morning
morning.
dawn, I don't need to say dawn.
Right. We're super clear though.
Yeah. The other awareness is like it was deafeningly silent,
Mm,
right? So
yes.
it was like you're right, I was in my Zen zone. I was so tuned in to making it gentle, um, that it really allowed me to tune out, and it's loud on the other side of that door. But it really allowed all of that to kind of fade into the background and really, really brought me back home to center.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I could feel that while
Hmm.
you were doing it. Like she's gone.
Hmm. It
um,
was.
And you brought up a really interesting point that not everybody is at that level of. So usually when people breathe out, exhale, they're thinking breathing out, like into the world.
Hmm.
That's what we do physically. But you can, like you said, move that breath through your body. Use your intention and your awareness to move that into different areas of your body. Because, like we said, it's very electrical. And with your thought and intention, you can move that electricity through your body, and you can feel tingles. You can activate, bring up memories or thoughts and stuff. And when you go into that place, it's like this. You said it. It's just still and quiet, and it's like this
Hmm.
huge open cavern, this like echo chamber, and that's the place where you'll hear your thoughts so clearly. You'll hear the voice of God so clearly. All the things that are unprocessed in you will start coming to surface, and it'll be so loud to you that it'll be so easy to deal with whatever you need to deal with because it's right there in front of
Hmm. I found that really, it's, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I mean, I liked the energizing piece. I mean, who doesn't like to be energized? But like, that was a new level of calm in in the day that was just like sometimes you forget that that ability, that power actually resides within each and every one of us to just so completely and fully tune into self. There's always this idea that this type of journey requires that you remove yourself from life. But for me, that is not practical for my life, for my world. And that's not the way that I want to live this journey. For me, it's more about, okay, what are the tools and resources that I can bring into the journey so that I can bring that peace with me any moment in time? And what a validation of really, it's just, just use my breath, 5 breaths. And even as I was
breaths.
doing that, I'm like, wow, I'm breathing really slow right now.
I love what you said that about like not removing yourself. And I people say I'm my own worst enemy or I need to get out of my own way. And that is very revealing as to how they think about themselves. Be
Hmm.
your own best friend, be your best
Yeah.
business partner. Like when you learn to cooperate with yourself and love yourself and work through the resistance, then you become you become your own best friend, and life becomes a lot more fun because you have to live with yourself every day. You go to sleep with
Hmm.
yourself, you wake up with yourself. You might as well learn to love yourself.
Truly, amen. Like, like you can't actually get away from yourself. So we've done two energizing exercises and we've done one super calming one. Is there one more?
There is one more. I think we're having a break soon, so we probably shouldn't get into that quite yet.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We are gonna
But
go to break soon.
so you mentioned like the difference between the two, and you can combine these, and it's not just two. Like breath has so much variability, and you can do all sorts of things. So if for example, I haven't done it in a while, but if I'm public speaking, I'll energize myself first, get myself amped up, and then calm myself so I get into that still focused place, right
Hmm.
before I go on. And so you can play with it. It's a tool.
Yeah, super valid. I never thought of that. And then you did ask me when we did the other one, when could I see? So this one I could see being very useful almost like after any type of feeling that you don't like. So anger, sad. Well, for me, I think where I would find this particular breath exercise particularly useful is when I feel like I need clarity on something, right? It's like I know I said, and I would probably use it when you talk about combination, I would probably use the energizing one to like clear away what feels like cloudy or muddy mind, and then use this last exercise we did to like create that dome of silence, for lack of putting it a better way, where you can actually hear the guidance that's coming through or feel it or get a sense of like, what you're supposed to do. And then even as I tune in, like it's almost even like my heart center is, I can still feel it there, but it's like maybe not as heavy anymore. Maybe it's just a little lighter. So I feel like it's something for me to let go of because it moved. It's maybe not all gone, but it definitely moved.
Let's see if we can move it some more soon.
Yay. So we will give you one opportunity when we come back from break for you to help me move this last bit of heaviness that's on my heart today. We will be right back.
Leadership isn't reserved for CEOs or world leaders. It's something each of us is called to embody in our own lives. But how do you awaken that inner leader with clarity and confidence? On Sacred Leadership with intuitive business coach Sherisse Alexander, you'll discover powerful tools and spiritual insights to align your words, actions, and outcomes. Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific, right here on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Sacred Leadership with Sherisse Alexander. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Sherisse@pavitraleadership.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to Sacred Leadership with Sherisse here on the Inspired Choices Network, where today I'm joined by the Catalyst Coach, Philip Hunt, and we are talking about the breath that moves you. In the first few segments, we did 2 energizing breathwork exercises. In the last one, we did something a little softer, something that is meant to calm and center and allow for peace, for lack of putting it a better way. And I was saying right before we went to break that I would probably use the combination of energizing to clear away confusion and muddiness of the mind, and then follow that up with that more calming breathwork exercise so that I could maybe hear the answers or see the answers or feel the answers in whatever might be on my mind. So Philip has one more exercise for us today, and I'm really excited. By the time we're done, I'm going to go to bed.
That's what I'm here for. Send everybody to sweet dreams. So I love the title of it, The Breath That Moves You, because breath is movement, right? Breath is air that is moving. And so we are a powerful divine technology that without us actually breathing, the air is pretty stationary. Obviously everything's always moving, but by us breathing in this air, it moves, it animates our body, it gives us our muscles, electricity and power to move. And in the same way, when you still your breath, it stills your soul, it stills your body, it stills your mind. So the last breath took you really deep into Zen. We're going to kind of take a middle of the road approach here. And you mentioned that you had a little bit of heaviness on your heart that moved away a little bit. So let's be more intentional with that, because we talked about before the break how you can combine your intention and move the breath through your body, because breath is electricity. It's highly electrical. There's lots of electrons going on. So you can move things through your body. And sometimes you may need more like intentional forgiveness or processing issues, but sometimes just that intention of breathing something through is enough. So we're going to go into this same idea, eyes closed, but tune into your heart center, tune into that heaviness that you felt. Or if you're listening on the podcast and you have a place in your body you feel like you're holding tension, tune into that area. And those types of areas, they need attention. They need love. They've been neglected for so long that it's building up this energy, this blockage, this unresolved issue or whatever. So they need gentle attention. When someone is angry or freaking out, yelling at them isn't going to help. They need a calm voice. They need someone to process them, walk them through what's going on. So that's what we're going to do with your heart right now, or wherever you're holding your tension, is simply we're going to breathe in through the nose while tuning into that area, tuning into your heart, and then breathe that feeling just out of your body. We're going to do that 5 times and just be in tune with the emotions, the feeling, the energy, the breath moving through your body. So in through your nose, tuning into your heart, feeling whatever that tension or block is. And out through the mouth, just allowing the movement. Still calm, gentle. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just get in that cycle in your space and tune into the energy moving through you. And it happens uniquely for everybody. So there's all different levels, possibilities, potential of things that can happen. Sometimes the breath enough can move it out. Oftentimes it'll give you awareness of, oh, this is why that's there, and you'll realize what's going on. So what did you experience?
Well, I know why it's there. I know why it's there. But I think it almost felt like, I don't think that it's anything that, sometimes, things that are stuck in our body just need acknowledgement. And I think that that's really all that it needed. It doesn't feel like it's there anymore. And I felt like I was like giving it permission, like it's okay to feel what you're feeling. So it's very okay. It's a very real and human thing, but you don't have to hold on to it, right? Like these things come in waves, right? Happiness, sadness, anger, all these things. It's just the idea is to like not let it stay stuck there. So when I was doing that exercise, I was listening to you very intentionally. And what's interesting is what I felt is like um, almost like, well, I'm just going to say it, almost like not just using the breath, but pulling in additional energy, channeling it towards the heart center, moving it, and not just moving it, but specifically feeling it like move this way and like almost like lighting up the heart center, right? So it's kind of cool, to be honest with you. There's a lot that was going on in there. Um, but almost like, it's okay. It's okay to feel like that. It's okay to let it go. You don't have to hold on to it. Just the acknowledgement is enough often.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we talked about, the air is full of electricity. There's electrons floating all around us. So as you breathe in, you literally are breathing in that energy, breathing in that electricity, and that's potential energy to utilize. So as you tune your thoughts or breathe or whatever, you can do stuff with that. And that's what I love getting into, is the manifestation application of that, because it's highly electrical and you can do a lot. You mentioned about sometimes we just need the acknowledgement, right? Something to acknowledge something in us. That's true in the micro internal and the macro external. So sometimes a colleague, an employee, a superior, a spouse, a child, they just need acknowledgement.
Thank you, Philip, for today. And until next time.
Thank you for listening to the Sacred Leadership Show. Sherisse returns Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, continue taking small steps today to be a leader in your life for the collective.